perhaps picking a side here, and I wasn't actually meaning to do so. I'm kind of curious as to your opinions on this matchup, specifically as we go to specifically as it pertains to Banjo versus Lucas.
This is gonna be interesting. Uh, I've been. If you watched any Fusion in the past 3 months, 4 months, you've seen WebbJP and what he can do with this Lucas, right? And he has no shortage of combos and strings and setups for this character. So I have no doubt that he'll find his way in this particular matchup, which is a struggle that some characters have. But WebbJP, like an interesting thing too, like right with the grenades, he can absorb them with down B. That's like another little matchup situation that could happen. But yeah, it's not like I've seen this matchup too often. I'm trying to just theorize how this set's gonna go if he continues to be Banjo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I do think that the eye test can kind of lie, especially when it comes to the scoreboard down there. However, with UtopianRay's Banjo, we are talking about a pretty standard kind of play. UtopianRay is very strange in the sense that he's always been kind of the black sheep in terms of how people in terms of how he plays whatever character that he's labbing out, whether it's the Palutena or the Joker, or certainly with the Banjo. Like, he's willing to play the meta for sure, but he's always going to try out his way. He's always going to try to march to the beat of his own drummer. And WebbJP, certainly, I mean, you're making Lucas relevant in 2020. Certainly no stranger to that. The PK Fire, excuse me, causing quite a bit of knockback, and UtopianRay keeping his distance, as are they both, as really you should be doing as well, 6 feet at least, but the back throw will take the first stock.
I think the way this first stock has gone, I think we're gonna see the whole set kind of play out like this. There's gonna be a lot of spacing. There's gonna be whose projectile is gonna hit first, and then how can I maximize that punish? Now okay, nice.
Yeah.
Good punish on Wonder Wing.
I mean, how many times have we seen that the Wonder Wing getting punished? And just because it's Wi-Fi doesn't mean that there is as much lag as we would like to as we would like to put on. No, that's still very, very reactable. So you're going to be in a world of hurt if you are not judicious with how you employ that particular side B. Looking for back airs, trying to read WebbJP's movement, but man, it is hard. WebbJP can be harder to grasp than a bar of soap in the bathtub sometimes.
He has so many different options on his approach, whether it be with PK Fire or Zaire, his various Nair strings and setups. Like, you never know what he's gonna pull out, and he has a lot of different playstyles. You can see him play Lucas as like a rush down, or like super patient and just rely heavily on the PK Fires, on the PK Freezes.
Ooh, yeah, that is something to note, particularly maybe not right after a Wonder Wing KO by UtopianRay, but nevertheless, yeah, you do see that quite a bit from WebbJP. You'll just see him kind of approaching with those aerials, those fastball nairs right into the face of whatever opposition he may be facing, whatever poor SOB that is. However, UtopianRay playing with these eggs, maybe you don't want to approach the giant bear with a grenade. That's certainly a valid concern to have. Looking for the down smash to try to 2-frame, maybe just a little slow on the trigger there. WebbJP with stage control and not showing the results, not really showing on the scoreboard quite yet, but I do kind of wonder if this game 1 is getting out of hand for WebbJP.
Yeah, UtopianRay doing a real good job zoning and gets this Wonder Wing kill, the final Wonder Wing on that stock too.
Yeah, I mean, hate to say that I told you so, but yeah, that's kind of the case in this game number 1. UtopianRay taking it to WebbJP, a multiple-time regional Wi-Fi champion. And not doing too poorly for himself here is UtopianRay going up 1-0.
Yeah, Banjo, this is kind of like where I get my Snake comparison a lot from, is when he has the lead, it feels so insurmountable sometimes, right? Like finding your way, like having to approach, being forced to approach a Banjo who sets up walls of eggs, grenades, all this junk you have to deal with, and then not trying to optimally punish once you get in. It's just so much mental math you have to do, all these things you have to look out for. It's really, it can take a toll throughout an entire set.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like once a Banjo has a lead, they can really get into this campy play style, and it can be really tough for anyone to deal with.
Exactly, and I do find it pretty impressive because you do see a bit of a hard transition. I'm just talking about the broader scope of things here, for I mean, not just Wi-Fi, but the Smash scene in general, particularly Tri-State. You don't often see the guys who do really well offline. Guys like Ray and guys. I mean, who else do you really see getting the consistent results? I mean, we've seen Beast. He's PR'd in Philadelphia, and he's winning tournaments. I mean, seemingly left and right out here. And you see guys like UtopianRay doing really well in Wi-Fi, obviously on the cusp of making top 8 here at the expense of a guy who's won multiple tournaments online against in WebbJP. But being able to adapt to the situation, being able to adapt to what Wi-Fi is, and seeing what characters are at your disposal and how it might differ from the character that you play online. Excuse me, I mean, WebbJP putting on a clinic in of himself. And I was just about to talk about how impressive UtopianRay is as a player, but WebbJP, I mean, you can't exactly sleep on something like that.
Something clicked in that interim between game 1 and game 2. You so far spot on with your analysis of these are just not. These games don't look very even, regardless of who's winning them. Oh my God! What happened there?
Putting UtopianRay on ice. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, this is a guy who is PR'd in New York. Like, this is nothing to shake a stick at, man. It really isn't. And now, WebbJP kind of made him look foolish there. But then again, I mean, who's not susceptible to a PK freeze every now and then? That is valid. Eventually, Wonder Wing going to take that first stock, but man, look at that real estate he has to make up.
I mean, WebbJP, yeah, he'll make any Smash player look foolish, especially if you've never seen Lucas like this before, you know? I remember, like, not even a couple weeks ago in Collision Online, he was scaring MK Leo in bracket. Like, he had to making him nervous. So WebbJP is definitely a talented player in his own right, of course.
See, that's kind of the thing. I'm sort of surprised that he didn't beat MK Leo just because of the things that we've seen WebbJP do online. And I do kind of wonder how this translates to offline tournaments. I think we might be seeing a potential Lucas renaissance once we start getting into live venues again. Hopefully, whenever we get a vaccine for the the aforementioned multiple times COVID-19, but nevertheless, that is for future speculation. This is now. WebbJP certainly reaping the benefits of the playfield as it exists right now, looking for these cheeky PK freezes, not finding much of anything, and losing stage control right now. UtopianRay with that platform, trying to shove it in the face of WebbJP, but yeah, that PK projectile disregards quite a bit.
I feel like a broken record. I say it every single time I'm casting, and I end up casting a lot of WebbJP matches because he survives late in the bracket. Even before all this quarantine, he was starting to make a name for himself in offline brackets. Like, he was starting to get some top 8s at DNA. I don't know if he top 8'd a Fusion before quarantine started, but definitely I was at a DNA he top 8'd. And yeah,
I remember that. You're right.
I have no doubt in my mind once offline play starts happening, that we're gonna see WebbJP being in these top 8s.
Oh my gosh. Well, Ray is making a game of this.
Yeah,
So
he
let's
brought
not-
this back.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it though, right? Oh wow, he's heavy.
Yeah, I mean, this is Banjo. He's carrying an entire Breagle in his backpack. I don't know what you were expecting, but nevertheless, it's going to be the down air to get back down to the platform with in an expeditious manner. And now, UtopianRay trying to make his way back to the stage, does so successfully. WebbJP going to have to parry away these projectiles or just absorb some of them. But yeah, if he's not careful, UtopianRay can potentially steal this game.
I don't know how many like pure setups now exist for Lucas at this higher percent, so we might just have to see like some raw kill move or back air or back throw like on the side of the stage.
I mean,
find this final
any
kill.
throw does it. He cannot.
Oh, up throw too, yeah, too, right? That also does. That's also a kill throw for Lucas.
Every throw is a kill throw on Lucas. Are you kidding me? And certainly, oh my goodness. Yeah, you got caught sleeping, you got caught approaching, and just like that, WebbJP takes it to game 3. UtopianRay, I kind of wonder if this was a case of you just ran out of time. But then again, the first half of that game was so very important, and you simply got caught by that down air. Gonna be what happens.
Yeah, he just got, like
Not
a bomb
on that last
punch in
stock.
the
I should've
mouth.
clarified the first stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make that be as confusing as it certainly sounded. But Jitty would love your thoughts on that game number 2. I mean, WebbJP looking like this is looking pretty solid there. So the adjustments from game number 1 certainly paying off.
Yeah, he came out like a ball of white hot fire in game 2 and just socked UtopianRay in the mouth for those 2 quick stocks. And then UtopianRay slowed it down, he composed himself, and he brought that back to make it a respectable game 2. We'll see what happens in game 3. I'm very curious. Which of these we're gonna see? We're gonna see the game 1 or game 2 UtopianRay, or the game 1 or game 2 Lucas.
Yeah, I'm just saying at the second part of that game number 2, game 2 UtopianRay wasn't looking all that bad.
No,
So,
it wasn't.
Really is just a matter of consistency and not getting caught off guard. Certainly not getting caught off stage. You want to keep your feet firmly planted on the ground if you are UtopianRay. And just smacking him with the snake.
We saw the same
UtopianRay-
exact setup in game 2 to start game 2 for WebbJP. For UtopianRay's sake, hopefully he doesn't just get another quick stock right here. But we're all evened up. Game 3, winners quarters. WebbJP, UtopianRay. And yeah, now we're getting back into this patience. Both players zoning each other out. Ooh, look at that Wonder Wing. Good stall with a down B. I don't know if he would have connected if it wasn't for that.
Oh. Yeah, not. Oh my gosh!
No,
You know how? No, of course, you can't just dunk WebbJP. If he is living and he's able to make a move, you are not going to gimp WebbJP off stage. I have not seen anyone do it, not once. I've seen a spike approaching ledge, but that's about it.
He's like, out of like so many Earthbound character mains I've seen, he's like the best at having these blind up B recoveries. Just not, you're in the bubble only, and he's recovering with an up B easily. I've never seen him miss it.
Yeah, it's nigh upon instinctual for him at this point. It is pretty impressive, but I think if I remember correctly, was playing a little bit of Nest for quite some time as well, pretty much for as long as he's been playing Smash. So it does speak to logic that he'd be pretty good at it. But yeah, it is kind of impressive how consistently he does it blind. So yeah, WebbJP, you can't gimp him. God help you if you can try to kill him. He's at 135. UtopianRay gonna be trying to do just that.
Super even here. This is how game 1 started too, if you remember. Really high percent, And the same exact thing happened. UtopianRay takes the first stock. How can WebbJP close a stock without taking too much damage? That's the goal here. That's gonna this might decide how the match goes. If UtopianRay can just build upon this lead without dying, we may see him moving on in winner's side.
And I mean, it sucks to even feel like you have to call into question WebbJP's recovery. Not even the recovery, but just the get-up options there. Because it really did try to let go of ledge, and even then, your invincibility is gone if you re-grab. So that's already something you don't really want to be doing, especially at that percentage. UtopianRay, all you got to do is stick Kazooie's neck out and connect with the beak, and you're cruising. You have a stock lead, and that's kind of showing right now that little bit of room that UtopianRay was given is showing on the scoreboard, and you're not going to catch WebbJP off stage quite like that. You're going to have to do it with you looking each other eye to eye, pretty much. Looking for the Wonder Wing. No, not finding the mark.
Good roll.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's built this. This is a huge lead now for UtopianRay. He easily put on all this percent without taking one. I'm gonna jinx it right there.
It happens.
Yeah. Oh, this should be a kill. Oh,
Back
I wonder why he didn't go for the down throw. But yeah, he still hasn't taken a single percent on this stock. Wow.
Did you see? Even then, WebbJP took a bit of a long time getting out there. So I don't know. We did see that red light, so it was a kill throw. But man, it looked like WebbJP was flying for just a little bit longer than usual. It makes you wonder. And now with a full stock lead and then some, UtopianRay looking to punch his ticket to top 8. And that's WebbJP just smacking UtopianRay.
Yeah, wait a minute. WebbJP say, wait a minute. If he can just find a setup here, even up this stock, you know, anything could happen. Ooh, okay. Some setups here. Not gonna kill just yet. What's the option here on the edge guard?
PK Freeze not going to find the mark. UtopianRay. I think you've been hit by that one too many times for his liking, and that is once.
Oh, Wonder Wing. Doesn't get a punish on it, though.
I was waiting for the punish, to be completely honest with you, but WebbJP just was not looking for it.
Yeah, he was like stuck on the platform and couldn't find the optimal way to safely punish him. Oh, the Wonder Wing read!
Wonder Wing! Beautifully done, and UtopianRay on the wings of hope, flying into top 8.
Yeah, great game by UtopianRay there. Just that second stock, really, I mean, that was the key there. Taking no damage, but killing WebbJP there.
And the beautiful thing about that kill, Jitty, just want to go over that real quick. Didn't even need to read the roll. Spaced it out perfectly so that it was in the startup of the Wonder Wing. You're invincible, you're cruising, you're a running hitbox at that point. And WebbJP trying to get out of the way, but yeah, you're rolling straight into a truck. The license plate reading something. All you can make out is RAY. That is rolling straight into top 8.